kids who can't make it to the meet for whatever reason, they can watch this. Okay, so officially, a cylinder is a 3D figure that has two circular bases, right? The bases are the top and the bottom. So they're two circles. My bases are circular, the top and the bottom. They're two circular bases and no edges, right? There's no edges to my shape. There's no hard corners. Everything is curved. Okay, so before we even find volume, let's figure out like what does volume even mean, okay? So volume is how much stuff you can put inside of a shape. So like take my water bottle, okay? So for my water bottle, the volume would be how much water I can fill into this container, okay? My Clorox container, how many Cloroxes can I put in this tiny little tube, right? My hand sanitizer, how much hand sanitizer can I put in this container? That's what volume means, how much stuff you can put in something. Okay, that's what volume means. So to find the volume, the way you do it is to find the volume of a cylinder, we need to take the area of the base and multiply it by the height. So let's write this formula at the top of our paper so that we can use it for the rest of the day and so we can use it for our 5-question Schoology. So guys, now that you are in 8th grade, you have a different 8th grade star chart, which I want to show you. And it looks something like this, okay? Since we're only using 1 or 2 formulas, I'm not going to give you this whole paper, especially since COVID, you know, people are afraid to touch it and then give it to the next class. So I'm just going to write the formulas at the top and you write the formula. So volume is right here. Cylinder is what we're doing. The volume equals V times H. So let's write that at the top of our paper. V equals capital B, has to be capital, okay? Because if it's not capital, then it's going to be wrong. And I'll tell you why in a minute, times H. So volume equals B times H. Okay, so let's not worry about this stuff. Okay, let's just find the volume. Okay, I'm going to do stuff a little bit different. So first of all, I have the shape and I want to find the volume. Okay, so don't worry about this. Don't worry about anything. Okay, let's just find the volume. So volume is capital B times H. Okay, back when we had 2-dimensional shapes, your B was just the base. The base is bottom. So you're like, oh, the base is 6.5. So you write 6.5 times 16. Boom, that's my answer. That's no longer the case because this is a 3D shape. This is capital, right? If it were lowercase b, then it would be maybe 6.5, but it's capital B. Capital means the area of the base. So think about what your base is. Do you see how your base is your bottom or your top? And your top and your bottom are circles. So the area of this, I have to find the area of a circle. So what I'm going to do then, I don't know the area of a circle. The area of a circle is pi r squared. So A equals pi r squared. Okay, so this is how I'm going to show my work for the next 2 chapters. If this is my formula, that means I have to figure out what B is and figure out what H is to be able to find the volume. So capital B means the area of the circle. The area is pi r squared. So pi, does anyone remember what is the number for pi? Jema? 3.14. So it's pi times r. My radius, look at this picture. Radius always goes from center to side. So my radius is 6.5 and then squared. So that's how I find B. My B is not just like a simple 6.5. No, it's all of this. But hey, you have calculators. Life is good. So I'm going to go 3.14 times 6.5 squared. And then let's just round it to two numbers. So 132.67. 132.67. So that's my capital B. Okay, my H, do you see how H is lowercase? Lowercase just means look at the picture, grab the number. Uppercase means you actually have to do a little problem with it. So lowercase h is the height. What number is the height here? 16. So look, I found B, I found H, so now I have to do is just multiply them. So my volume equals 132.67 times 16. So I get 2,122.72, and that's my answer. One final thing though, since this is a real world problem, my units are in centimeters, and this is volume. So does anyone know, like, is it centimeters? Is it centimeters squared? Is it centimeters cubed? What do you think? To what power is this thing? 1, 2, or 3? It's 3. The reason why I know that volume is cubed when I write it, my answer is because volume has a length and a width and a height. It has 3 dimensions. That's why it's the third power. And that's my answer. And that's it. Okay? So the biggest thing you have to remember is, what is capital B? Capital B is the area of your base. So you have to do this problem. So here's one more thing that might come up. You're like, ooh, I have this fancy schmancy calculator. I don't want to write 3.14 for pi. I want to use the pi symbol. Do you guys see how the pi symbol is right here? It's right underneath clear in blue. So some of you want to be like, oh no, I want to do like pi like that. And then times 6.5 squared like that. Okay, if you do this, you're going to get a different answer than me. Notice how this is 132.67 and this is 132.73. So your answers are all going to be slightly different if you use the pi symbol. Now, hold on. Answer me this. Which answer is more accurate? Do you think 3.14 is more accurate, or the pi symbol is more accurate? The pi symbol, because the pi symbol is not just 3.14 rounded, it's all of that. So why, if this is the better answer, are we using the worse answer? And the reason why is because the star is going to ask you to use 3.14. It's not going to ask you to use pi. So why is the star asking you to use the worse answer? Because not all kids in the state of Texas, when they take the star, have a calculator that has a pi symbol. So they don't want to say use a pi symbol because not all the kids can use a pi symbol. All right, some kids just use like the normal calculators that you have in like 4th grade. That is their 8th grade math star calculator. Whereas we're very lucky and we have these really fancy ones that can do fractions and all that stuff. Okay. So that's why the star wants everyone to be on the same playing field. So everyone gets the same answer. So everyone's going to type in 3.14 as pi. Okay. All right. So let's do this one. So we can ignore this stuff. Let's just find the volume. Okay. Volume equals base times height. So, well, in order to figure out what is base times height, figure out the base, figure out the height. So your base is the area of the base, right? Well, what is your base? Your base is a circle. So what's the area of a circle? We wrote it right here. So that's what I do. So I go 3.14, because that's pi, times r. This is a trick question. My radius is not 4. What is it? It's 2, right? Remember, your radius always goes from center to side. So if the whole thing, that's called your diameter. If your whole thing is 4, then cut it in half and your radius is 2. So it's 3.14 times 2 squared. So type that in your calculator. 3.14 times 2 squared. I get 12.56. And then my height, just look at the problem and grab that number. Hannah, what number is the height here? 3. Your height goes up and down, right? How tall is your shape? It's 3. So your volume is base, which is this, times height, which is this. So 12.56 times 3, I get 37.68. That's my answer. 37.68. And then don't forget my units. My units are inches to the what power? 3. So volume is always cubed, okay? To the third power means cubed, so it's inches cubed. Centimeters cubed, millimeters cubed, feet cubed.
Sometimes it'll say cubic inches.
Oh yeah, or cubic inches. That's the same thing. Okay, let's do another one. This one's a little bit harder because my shape has fallen over. That's okay.
That's because somebody had just used it as a weapon.
Yes, that's why. And I'm not going to confirm or deny if it was in this Friesenhahn using it as a weapon. Okay, so let's find the volume. Volume, so look at your formula, is base times height. So if it's base times height, figure out base, figure out height. All right, your base is the area of the base. Guys, do you see how your base is now no longer on the top and bottom, but it's on the left and right because my shape has fallen? So if my shape has fallen, my bases have fallen over. But my base is a circle, so I'm using the area of a circle formula, which is pi r squared. Okay. So pi is 3.14 times my radius. Look at your picture here. Somebody online, can you type in or can you shout out? Which number is the radius? What is my radius? Somebody online. 4. Thank you, Brooke. Do you see how your radius has fallen over too? But that's okay. From center to side is 4 squared. So type that in. 3.14 times 4 squared, 50.24. Okay, now let's find the height. Somebody online, other than Brooke, no Brooke, what number is your height here? Thank you, Sophia. It's 16. Well, you might be like, no, it's not 16 because it stands up straight. No, guys, your height is always between your two bases, okay? If your shape has fallen over, that means your height has also fallen over. So your height is always going to be between your two bases. So yes, she is right. It is 16. So multiply those together because volume is base times height. Did someone get that answer? Taylor? Perfect. And then Taylor, what are your units? Not squared. Cubed. Good job. Centimeters cubed. Volume is always cubed. I hope maybe we're getting the hang of this. Okay. Let's find this volume. If it helps you, maybe before you do anything, you can highlight or circle your base and then highlight or circle your height. So just so you know, like the numbers you're dealing with. Base is on top and bottom unless it's fallen over, but your height is always between. And if you're like, yeah, there's no bottom, then just make a dotted line and boom, there's your bottom, right? So I can say, okay, well then there's my other base. My height is always between the two bases. Okay, so let's find the volume. Volume is base times height. Area of the base, right? Capital B means area of the base. So capital B is the area of the base. My base is a circle, so I have to use the circle formula. So pi r squared, 3.14 times, Valeria, what number is my radius here? 8. From center to side, it's the halfway one, okay? So it's 8 squared. Tyler, did you multiply that out yet?
Yeah, I got a 200.96.
200.96, thank you. And then my height is just how tall it is. Mikey, how tall is my shape? What number? Okay, it's just 6. Remember, if it's lowercase, you just grab it from the picture. If it's uppercase, then you have to actually do a problem. So multiply the two numbers together. I get something in the thousands. Jema? I think I got something else. I got 1,600 something. Nope, totally wrong. Sorry. Jama, you are right. I looked at my calculator and I multiplied by 8. Silly rabbit. You are right. 1,205.76. I am ashamed. I should take my cylinder and beat myself with it. All right. So 1,205.76. Okay, couple more. I'm hoping we kind of get it, but honestly, you guys are being eerily very quiet, so I honestly have no idea. Okay, let's find the volume. So volume equals capital B times H. So figure out B, figure out H, and then multiply those two numbers together. So capital B, somebody in person. What do I do? What do I have to like? What are the numbers? What do I do? 3.14 times 6. I don't see a 6 here. How do you know it's 6? You're right. Yes. So do you see what Taylor said? Your radius is not 12. Don't be tricked. Your radius is not 12 because radius only goes like it's the halfway line from the center to the side. So half of 12 is 6. So 3.14 times 6, is that my base?
I think there's something else.
Squared. Thank you. And remember, if you don't remember these formulas, that's okay because they will be on your notes, so you can use them for your 5-question Schoologies, or they will be on your test. So on your test, I will have all the formulas there for you. Okay. So 3.14 times 6 squared. Did someone multiply that? Maddie? Thank you. Okay. And maybe before I like confuse myself, sorry, I always forget to do this. Maybe I should just highlight my bases just so I know what I'm looking at. All right, somebody is online kid. What number is the height here? Sophia already said it, but for another problem. Thank you, Daniel. Yeah, it is 16. Again. Remember, if your shape has fallen, your height has fallen. So I just multiply these. Did someone get an answer in the 600s? Hannah? Oh my gosh, I literally cannot multiply right now. I really need to take the cylinder and multiply and beat myself over. Okay, sorry, in the 1000s, Hannah? Yes. And what are your units, Hannah? Oh, yeah. Okay. Like tick tick. Does anyone know what a tick tick is? Is that like a feet, a centimeter, a millimeter?
Good question. I guess people don't always learn this now.
I know. Mr. Tucker, will you please enlighten us?
Yes, when you have two quotation marks like that, that means inches.
So if you had like just one quotation mark, then what would that be, Mr. Tucker?
Feet.
Yeah, so one quotation is foot, two quotations are inches. Is there like 3? I
think that's it.
Yeah, that's the only one I know. Okay, so Hannah, it's inches what? Squared, cubed, or just inches? Yes, cubed. Volume is always written as cubed because there's a length, there's a width, and there's a height. Okay, so guys, when you go home today and you're like, oh my gosh, I just really want to know the volume of all the cylinders that I have in my house, like my, soup can or my tennis ball or my soda can or whatever. You have all the knowledge now to do that. Be proud of yourself. Okay, so let's just do one more. I feel like maybe we can just do one more. I hope we get the hang of it. So you choose. Do you want to do number 10 or do you want to do number 9? What do you like better, tennis or soda? Okay, I honestly didn't hear what anyone said. How about you just choose? Okay, you choose number 9 or you choose number 10 or you do both of them. I'll find the answer to both of them, okay? So you go right now. Okay? Do number 9 or do number 10, whatever one you want to do. Don't look at don't look at my paper. Don't be a Peter McPeterson. And if you have decimals, don't round your decimals. Like if your radius or your height are decimals, don't round them. Just like only round your final answers, okay? Don't be tricked. Radiuses are from the center to the edge. So you might have to take your radius or your diameter and divide it by 2 in your calculator. So you're doing number 9 or you're doing number 10 or you're being an eager beaver and you're doing both of them. If you just have so much time in the world. Isn't it wonderful to have these calculators and you're just multiplying these huge numbers by your calculator? Isn't it like the most satisfying thing ever? Last year you had to like,
Mm-hmm.
That's why I refuse to teach any other grade other than 8th grade.
High school math.
I would. Well, actually, I would rather teach 8th grade because 8th graders, you can use your calculators all year. When you get to high school, did you know that, yes, there will be calculators, but sometimes in algebra and like in upper level classes, they're going to say, this is a no calculator test. So you're not allowed to use a calculator. So like in 8th grade, you can use your calculator for literally everything in the world and it doesn't matter. But when you get to 9th grade algebra, they're going to say, this part of the test, you can't use a calculator. This part of the test, you can use a calculator. So they're going to have to like make you do some stuff by head, I think, too. So I'd rather, I guess 8th grade is my sweet spot. Okay. So I think the biggest issue you guys are going to have is when you want to find your radiuses. So like for number 9, look here, everyone look, okay? Even if you didn't do number 9, just look because you might come into this issue later. Your diameter from whole side to side is 1.55. So you have to divide by 2 to figure out what your radius is. I really didn't round it, okay, because then that makes it a little bit not as accurate. So just, it's 3 numbers. You can just write 3 numbers. It's not like it's 15 numbers long, okay? So like for this one, 3.8 goes from side to side. So I'm just going to divide it by 2, and that's how I get my radius, okay? Hopefully you got 25 point something or you got 62 point something. Yes, no, maybe so, hopefully. Okay.
Somewhere in the neighborhood.
Hopefully. Guys, if you still have questions, let me know. I'm happy to do the other 3 with you if you need it. Not a big deal. But all of you right now, if you think you're okay, you're going to go do the 5 question Schoology.